Hello YouTube. I wanted to show you something that I think almost proves Obama will end up being the Antichrist. In Ezekiel chapter 20 and 21, we're going to talk about that. First, I need to show you a couple things. One, I need to show you this right here, the Strong's Concordance. Okay, it's better than the old concordance that was written 100 years ago. Really good. This has every word of the Bible, every time any word is used. Like, for instance, the word flash. It has every time the word flash is used in the Bible, every verse that it's in, and it has a number that refers you back to the Greek or the Hebrew dictionary in the back. The Old Testament was written in Hebrew, New Testament was written in Greek, and you have a Greek and Hebrew dictionary in the back. Okay, each word has a number that will guide you into the dictionary to find the meaning to it. Okay, we're going to be using this. That's why I wanted to show it to you. Okay, next I wanted to show you the meaning of Barack Obama's name. Okay, because it is significant for what I'm going to be talking about in the Bible. Okay, this is I'm going to show it to you. You can pause your video and look at this better. But these are the numbers and the words for Barack Obama. Okay, it's got Obama at the top, and you can read that it's the reference number 1117, and then you have see, it says see Bournemouth, and then reference number 1120. Then you go down to the bottom, and pretty much the same thing. It gives you the definitions, and it tells you that 1116 is the same as 1117, and then 1120 says it's same as 1116, and you keep on going down through there, and you'll see that his name ends up meaning a high place of BAAL. Then at the bottom, the name BARAK in Hebrew is number 1299, 1300, and 1301. Okay, so anyway, you can look at that slower and see what I mean. So I looked up Barack Obama. Its name means the high place of BAAL. Mainly it means high place. But Barak in Hebrew is number 1299. It means to flash lightning, cast forth lightning. Number 1300 is lightning bolt, flash of lightning, lightnings, glittering, lightning, bright, cast forth lightning, glittering sword, glitter. Then Barak 1301 means lightning. And even in Hebrew, the book of Hebrews in the New Testament, in Hebrews 11:32, the Greek word is number 913. It's Barak, and it means same exact thing, lightning. Okay. In Luke chapter 10, verse 18, Jesus said, "Behold, I beheld Satan as lightning cast forth from heaven." All right. So he beheld Satan as lightning cast forth from heaven. And the name Barak means to flash lightning, cast forth lightning. That's what Barak means, number 1299. But the glittering and flashing sword are the main ones I'm going to be talking about. If you look in Ezekiel chapter 20, starting in verse 28. Now, if you read this yourself, you're going to see what I mean. This is talking about God was angry at Israel, and he was going to use Babylon as a rod of discipline against Israel. Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Israel. All right. Barack Obama is the president of the United States. The United States, I believe, is the physical manifestation of Mystery Babylon the Great of Revelation chapter 17. The Mystery Babylon the Great, I believe, started with a philosophy of Genesis chapter 3, that your eyes shall be open and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Meaning you don't need God. Through the hidden knowledge, the occult, and technology, you can be your own God. That philosophy is what all the world empires have always believed in, all the way up until the American empire right now. The United States pretty much rules the world. We have the United Nations here. We run the world finances. We have our military in like 140 different countries. The United States rules the world. Revelation 17 talks about Mystery Babylon the Great, and if you study the end times Mystery Babylon, you see that is the financial center of the world, the most powerful military in the world, influential, and that the whole world gets rich off Mystery Babylon the Great. And if you read in Isaiah about the end times, end times Babylon, you'll see it describes America perfectly. So Barack Obama is the leader of the end times Babylon, just like Nebuchadnezzar was the leader of Babylon here. Now, if you know anything about the Old Testament and Bible study and stuff, there are shadows of things in the Old Testament, and there are types. See, like Joseph in the book of Genesis was a type of Christ, and there are just numerous things about Joseph that was a picture of what would happen to Christ and what Christ would do. There are types all through the Bible that are like that. Somebody in the Old Testament, their life would reflect what somebody in the New Testament would do. Or like the city of Tyre in the Old Testament, I believe is a type of the United States of America in the end times. Tyre was the head of global finance. They traded by ships. They were a great port city. To do anything in the Middle East, you pretty much had to go through Tyre. That's kind of put it in a nutshell, saying it real simply. Okay, this Ezekiel chapter 20 and 21, I believe, is a type of the end times. A type of what Mystery Babylon would do during the end times when God would be dealing with Israel right at the end, because the purpose of the end times Antichrist and the purpose of the end time events mainly is two things. One, to purify the church, and two, to bring Israel to Christ. If you look in Ezekiel chapter 20, starting on verse 28, now I'm going to have to go through this kind of quick because I don't have that much time, but it says in Ezekiel 20:28, from when I had brought them into the land for which I had lifted up mine hand to give it to them, then they saw every high hill and all the thick trees, and they offered there their sacrifices. And there they presented the provocation of their offering. There also they made their sweet savor and poured out their drink offerings. Now listen to this. Then I said unto them, what is the high place whereunto you go? And the name thereof is called Bama until this day. This is the high place of Bama. Now if you keep reading, in verse 30, talks about what makes a nation a whore. Wherefore say unto the house of Israel, thus say the Lord God, are you polluted after the manner of your fathers, and commit ye whoredoms after their abominations? Israel, God was saying Israel was a whore because they followed after abominations. The United States of America, Revelation 17, the whore of Revelation has a golden cup in her hand, and she has abominations and filthiness of her fornication. The United States is a whore just like God is talking about here, because they follow after abominations. The United States is full of drugs and pornography and on and on and on. Hollywood making blasphemous movies, things like that. Then in verse 32, it talks about we will be as the heathen, as the families of countries, to serve wood and stone. Now it is talking about carved idols and stuff, but I think it also talking about types here, type of the Old Testament and fulfilled in the end times, I think is talking about materialism. The United States follows after materialism. All right, you keep on going. It says in verse 34, and I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries. Again, it's talking about Israel in the end times, that he would bring them back into their land. Okay, with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, and with fury poured out. Verse 37, and I will cause you to pass under the rod and bring you into the bond of the covenant. There's the rod of discipline. He's going to use Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, to do it. Just like today in the end times, God is going to bring the king, the leader of Mystery Babylon, as a rod of correction to bring Israel to Christ, which prophecy says they will do at the return of Christ. Okay, and then if you keep on reading, verse 41, and I will accept you and your sweet Savior when I bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries wherein you have been scattered, and I will sanctify you before the heathen. Verse 32, and ye shall know that I am the Lord when I shall bring you into the land of Israel, into the country for which I lift up my hand to give to your fathers. All right. Now, remember I said BARAK, number 1300, okay, on my notes here. In the Hebrew meaning, number 1300, one of the meanings is a glittering sword, okay? Now, if you look down in chapter 21, verse 3, it starts talking about, and say to the land of Israel, thus say the Lord, behold, I am against you, and will draw forth my sword out of the sheath, and will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked. Okay, in verse 4 it says, my sword go forth out of its sheath against all flesh from the north to the south. Verse 5 it talks about, I, the Lord, have drawn forth my sword out of its sheath, and it will not return anymore. Verse 9 says, a sword is shepherd and also furbished. Okay, verse 10. Now, I said BARAK, number 1300, means glitter. If you look in verse 10, Ezekiel 21:10, it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furnished that it may glitter. Now, notice this is significant because Barack means glitter. All right, I'm talking fast and I'm making mistakes talking. I'm sorry. Okay, now, then he talks in verse 11 about a sword being sharpened. Verse 12 about a sword. And remember, BARAK can mean the sword. I mean, it's just significant, but I ain't done yet. All right, you keep on reading. It talks about sword over and over and over again. Okay, and then in verse 18 is Ezekiel 21:18. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, also, thou son of man, appoint thee 2 ways, that the sword of the king of Babylon may come. Both 2 shall come forth out of one land, and choose thou a place. Choose it at the head of the way to the city. The king of Babylon can choose 2 different ways to go. And he chose to attack Israel. That's what this is talking about. And that's what's going to happen in the end times. Barack Obama will have 2 ways to go, and he's going to end up being the enemy of Israel and against the Christians. And then in verse 22, at this, his right hand was a divination for Jerusalem to appoint captains. And then also in verse 28, it talks about, again, there's Ezekiel 21:28. It says, the sword is drawn for the slaughter. It is furbished to consume because of the glitter. This is talking about the end times. And verse 21:27 even talks about the return of Christ. It says, it will overturn. It shall be no more until he come whose right it is, and I will give it him. Talking about being king and the crown. Talking about that Christ will come and he will bear the crown. It's talking about the end times. The king of Babylon will be the rod of correction against Israel. It was in the Old Testament, Nebuchadnezzar. It's going to be now with Barack Obama. And his name shows that, his name, the glittering sword. God bless you.